Welcome back, everybody, for another review. Today, we're going to be talking about the newest addition to the John Wick universe, which is Ballerina. So, I had no idea that this movie was directed by Len Wiseman until I actually saw the credits roll. But I did hear where the studio hired Chad Stahelski, the guy who did the other John Wick movies, to come in and shoot some additional action sequences. I think I heard that a couple days ago or something. I don't know which the sequences that he shot, but honestly, it seems really good. Like, I mean, the you can't tell where stuff was reshoots or anything like that. Which, sometimes with a lot of these movies, you can tell a huge glaring error where it's like something does not make sense or something was just automatically inserted there for something. But for this one, I couldn't tell anything. I think it flows really good together. So this is a movie about a girl. In the beginning of the movie, her father is killed, and she is picked up by Winston, who, if you guys have seen John Wick, know he's over the Continental Hotel for the New York hotel, and he takes her to the Roscaroma, which is essentially, if you see in the third movie, where it's the place where all the ballerina dancers and stuff are, and she starts to train with them, and she becomes an assassin for them, and eventually it leads her on this path to find the people who killed her father. Ana de Armas is absolutely incredible in this movie. She is fantastic. She delivers the action. This whole movie is on her shoulders, and she pulls everything off perfectly. I think she handles it good, which I'm a big fan of her. All the stuff I've seen her in, she's always been great in everything I've seen her in. She's so good, so I'm always rooting for her, and she brought it in this movie. So you go, girl.
You go, Glen Coco.
You can tell too that just like Keanu Reeves did, she put in the work, like the training, the gunplay, the kung fu, all that stuff. She did all. You could tell she put in the work. Honestly, her and any of the actors that had to put in for any of these fight scenes that they had to do together, whether they're fighting each other or not, or fighting her or not, it's very good. Like you can tell it's obviously you can tell it's in the same. It doesn't feel like anything is missing from the John Wick. It feels like it was legit pulled right out of that universe, which that's how it's supposed to feel. It doesn't, feel like this completely different movie. It doesn't feel like this completely different world. None of that. It fits and flows perfectly into that. I'll tell you straight up, this movie moves at a breakneck pace. It's like 2 hours long, and it flies by like you sat down for 30 minutes. Like, there is so much action. It's like action, action, and the action. This is a movie where the action builds and builds and builds and builds, and by the time you get to the third act, like, it's an amazing third act of the set pieces and the stunts and all the stuff that they pull off. And yeah, if you're looking for a high octane breakneck pace action movie, this one's for you. And if you love the John Wick movies, this one's totally for you. I do like this story involving her character because it takes her to a new place in this world we haven't seen before, and it involves the people that killed her father. And I don't want to give away what those people are or anything, or how they play by the rules and all that stuff like that, because I think it's a pretty cool reveal. And I liked it because, yet again, like I said, it added more to this world. We've seen a lot of this world through the four movies. And I've not watched the Continental TV show. It's something I do want to watch, but I have not had a chance to check it out yet. But it does add something to the world, because each movie we got either a new Continental or a new, like, somewhere new that they would go, a new assassin, a new nightclub, something like that. We've established that this world is gigantic. Anybody at any given time could be an assassin. But with this group of people, I think it adds a new threat to the world, and not only to the world of these different, what do you call it? If you want to call them tribes, or the assassins that they have throughout, like the Roscaromas, and really the whole, Continentals and all that stuff like that. I think it adds a new threat to that, but it also, at the end, concludes in a way to where it's a satisfying conclusion for this story, but it leaves enough breadcrumbs hanging to where you're like, this outfit and group of people could easily still be a threat. So maybe later on, if we get another Ballerina movie, which they set this one up kind of to do that, It'd be interesting to see them come back, and it would be really interesting to see where they would take her character in a follow up movie. I do like in this movie how it shows her from her earlier years up until uh where she's at now, where she's like this badass established assassin. It didn't take long to get there, but it was neat to see her in like the first time we see her, like she's in this almost like a training montage where she's failing and all this stuff. She keeps failing and failing and failing till she gets the stuff right to show that she's not perfect at this. And then she gets sent on her first mission, and she gets her ass kicked a lot, and she gets into a lot of fights that don't go her way and situations that don't go her way in that. And I like that because it shows that she's not perfect yet, but like I said, it's really short lived. So after like it, maybe they could have done like another little bit of a couple more missions where it's not, or maybe this whole movie could have been where she's not exactly perfect. But based on the rest of the movie, I can understand why maybe that wouldn't work as well, especially all these other people are so established. It was a cool element to see in the beginning how she wasn't just this badass assassin right out from the get go. It took a little bit, and it took a few years, couple months, all that good stuff or whatever to get her to where she is currently. I know this movie is supposed to take place between John Wick 3 and 4, and one of the issues I have with that is when you see John Wick for the first time in this movie, makes sense. It's intertwined really good, and I understand where that story would fit in between 3 and 4. When you see him later on in the movie, I'm like, when the hell did this take place in the timeline? Because you're with him all through 3 and 4. I mean, there's just a little bit of time between 3 and 4 to where you're not with him, and that's when the movie ends from 3 to 4. And if you've seen 3, obviously he was resting because he fell off of a building, so he was trying to retrain and all that stuff. And there is the continuity is still accurate, and because there's a part where obviously if you've seen the third one, he has to cut off his finger at one point. So when you see him later on in the movie, his finger is missing. So, but it leads me to believe, when the hell did this take place in between 3? Like, when did he have time to go off to do all this and then to get back to the events of the end of 3 or going into 4 or whatever? That is really my only complaint about this movie, is that, where I'm like, is where was that in the movie? Which then again, it's a nitpick for me, because yeah, I've seen this movie twice, and I've thought about it both times. I need to see it again because there's one other detail I want to see, because I'm just curious if I missed it both times. But somebody can tell me down below, in the third movie when what's her name gets her hands, the blade goes through her hands, when the adjudicator comes to essentially punish her for helping John Wick. So anytime during the movie, did she have the gashes in her hand? That's something I wanted to look for. Maybe specifically near the end of the movie, that's something I really wanted to look for, just to see if they were there. If they were, if I missed them, please let me know below, because that's something I wanted to see it again, just for that, just to see. But at the same time, even though this is somewhat of a nitpick for me, a part of me also doesn't care, because I had such a good time with the movie, and I think that while that is an issue, I'm not gonna harp on it. I'm on board. These movies are just fun. They're you're along for the ride for them, because you know what kind of movie you're walking into anyway, because these movies are not realistic in any way, shape, or form, and you're just there to have a good time and watch people get their ass whipped in many different ways, and use any kind of everyday object as a weapon to see how that's gonna kill somebody. And essentially, that's what this movie is, and you have a fun time with it. I've seen a lot of people complain that they thought they didn't like the fact that Ana de Armas, they were complaining about how she was invincible and might as well have been a superhero and all that stuff. And I'm like, did you watch John Wick? I'm like, it's the same way with John Wick. Dude fell off a building in the third movie. Dude should be dead by the end of the third movie. Honestly, he probably should have been dead and probably in the first or the second one. And then in the fourth one, he falls off another building. He hits a fucking van on the way down. Then he falls down like 75 flights of stairs. I'm like 3 times. I'm like, dude, that dude has got to have internal bleeding somewhere. So I'm like, I don't understand the argument for that, because I'm like, John Wick was pretty much invincible. So again, you're just there to have fun with it. If you walk, that's like walking into the Fast and Furious movies and be like, God, these movies are so realistic. Which maybe the original one, maybe, but like not Fast 9 where they're going to space and shit like that. So I don't know. That's just a me thing though. I just something that's just an argument I didn't understand. Honestly, for me, I was just happy to be back in this world again. This is a world that I love. It's a world building like these movies build so much lore and so many characters that I'm happy to see more. I'm happy to see more characters in this movie. I bought into Ana de Armas as this character. I know it's like how she said in some of the interviews, like she's a girl in this man's world, but how she goes about the fighting and the style that she uses and stuff, she fits in flawlessly. Plus, in all the John Wick movies, there was tons of female assassins and stuff like that. So it's like this world establishes early on that anybody could be an assassin. So I hate that this movie is not doing too well at the box office. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I know everybody loves the main character of John Wick. I totally understand. I love Keanu Reeves in that part. I think he's phenomenal. He puts in the work. The dude absolutely kills it. But I would like to see they've set this world up to be this massive world where anybody can be a character. I don't know if they're still doing it. We were supposed to get a Kane spinoff with Donnie Yen. That was the one of the characters in John Wick 4. I don't know if that's still happening. Still love to see it. They could pluck any assassin from this thing as long as it's got a good story and the action is solid. I'm there. Like I'm sold on it. I think most people will as well. I just think if you got to have a good story. I mean, let's be honest. Most people come to these movies to see how people are going to die and to see how they're going to get their ass beat in 25 different ways. I totally get it. But if you got a good narrative story, like intertangled throughout all that, it just adds to it. I know a lot of people said that this story was more on the weaker side. It's not a new story. I mean, it's just another revenge story. But at the same time, you're on board for this ride. Plus, like I said earlier in the review, I like the people that she's going after. I think it's cool because it's a new threat, and you really don't know what these people are capable of. They kind of establish it a little bit in this one, but because these people play by different rules than the regular world of the assassins, it adds, like I said, it adds this new threat and it adds this new flavor to this world overall. So I thought that was a cool add-on for this movie, and I thought to me that added to the story because I was really interested in who she was going after and how this was going to, especially when it ended, how it was going to affect the rest of this world of assassins and going forward, and how that was going to play into other movies or spin-off movies or whatever it's going to do. I know that we're supposed to be getting a John Wick 5. I don't know what they're going to do with that because of how John Wick 4 ended, and I thought John Wick 4 was a perfect ending. Don't get me wrong. Like I said just a second ago, I love Keanu Reeves. I would love to see him come back to this part because I love him as John Wick. I think he's incredible as John Wick. I heard that Chad Stahelski said that he had a really good story in mind and he started working on the script and he's about so many pages in, and he said once he got about 50 pages into the script with his idea, then he would bring Keanu Reeves in just to see what they were going to do next. And he said, but if he doesn't really go anywhere, they're probably just going to, scrap it. So it's not 100% set in stone, but I'd be curious to see what that idea is. And I just don't really want it to taint the ending of number 4 unless something happens to where he just has to go after the entire high table and just wipe out most of the high table, which is something I thought was going to be the story all along. But I love how they kind of dodged that and went around that in 4. I love the story that they told in 4. 4 is probably my favorite of the 4 main John Wick movies, but I think Ballerina is a perfect fit with those movies. Like you could binge them and add Ballerina to it, and I think because you're still set in that world, it'd be like you didn't miss a beat. So this movie you need to see in the theater. It's a really great movie. Like I said, it's nothing new to the story. It's a story we've seen 100 times, but like I said, you don't care. If this is the type of movie you're going into, if you want to see another John Wick style movie with great action, great set pieces, great stunt work, this movie is for you. Go see it, go have fun with it, and enjoy it. Like I said, I would like to see more of these movies, especially from this world of assassins that they've set up. I absolutely love this world that they're in. So if you love John Wick, go see this movie. Have a good time with it. It'll be a fun date night movie. Go to the theater to see experience it on the big screen with the biggest sound, the sound system possible. All that adds to this type of movie. This is a movie you need to see in theaters because it totally adds something to your experience. But everybody, that's my review for Ballerina. Let me know if you've seen it down below. Let me know what your favorite John Wick movie is and what you guys thought of Ballerina. If this is the first review you're finding me on, please come over and check out all my other 2025 reviews. I'll leave cards somewhere up here for all of you. And please come on over, like, comment, subscribe, so that way you'll be notified when I put up another video. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.